Part 4 of the question and answer book, The Mancharians' Newest Civilization. The topics the Mancharians, our evolved forefathers and foremothers of the long past, deal with in this brief audio are the soul mate and twin flame issues of our relationship with the opposite gender. Please note that the Mancharians are ascribing to soul mates what we consider twin flames in our view, and to twin flames what we think of as soul mates. We must extract from their words to find out what they are talking about. The director who asks the questions is Sentana-Ries. All sessions were recorded in 1995 in Tempe, Arizona, of the United States of America. Question 131. Director, you mentioned the difference between soul mates and twin flames. Here's my next question. At various times you refer to finding or meeting with the other half, so upon connecting with our higher selves, we effectively have restored within our system that Trinity, whereupon then we have laid the foundation for oneness with all other beings in the universe. Speaking here of the other half, are you referring to the twin soul, or as some call it twin flame of the male-female duality? Also, what advice can you give to people, who read about the necessity of finding their perfect soul mate first, before they can even think about climbing the ladder toward Trinity and spiritual universal oneness? Mancharians, this indeed is an arrogant way of looking at things. Indeed, here we say to you, that the elevated purpose of each individual must not bear consequence of alluding to a desire to wait first until the other half or twin flame is indeed found. Each one must continue on its individual journey to get in touch within him or herself, for if one half does not prepare itself, indeed it will not be ready for the meeting. The meeting here of the other self, indeed, is not soul mate, as people would call it, for many have had soul mates and many soul mates over the past and future incarnations. But indeed here we say to you, all must be done on the upward journeys in order to connect, and I believe here we refer back to the other session, when we have alluded to, if not explained, in perfunctionary fashion here, and that one must connect with his portion, shall we say, of higher essence, before meeting and connecting and unionizing with the other half, the twin flame half, signified by the royal star of David. This indeed is the emblem here of the twin flame fragments. As you see the upward point and the downward points, and they unionize with the side points coming out, which are the children of their union. So here you have in definition the male and the female, also the pyramidal structure of both, wherein the twin flame essence of light of the higher self exists. The star is a star of procreation as well, and these are where your sides come out on the stars. Do you understand? Director, yes, thank you. Proceed. Director, if each individual consists of a male and female aspect or portion, then why would people need to find their other half or twin flame? Mancharians, this question is complementary to the previous. Excellent commendation in its choice, however. Simply to say here, that taking the male essence without intertwining in within itself the female or lower attributes, not that we're saying that the female side is lower, we're just saying that it is not predominant over the male. In the male physical characteristic at this time the male must make a peace with the female portion. For if he is not fed the female and the fragments of ideas, and nature of the female essence of himself, indeed, how could he connect and ever hope to understand the other side of himself, that female side, when he does come together and join in unity with his complete and total other half, in order to provide a union of Trinity? And so it is, indeed, the same with the female who presides or has domination over the male attributes or fragments within her personality. She is simply endowed with these genetic structures. These are encoded within the helixes and DNA structure, in order to prepare herself better for that union of the ages. Proceed. Question 150. Director, thank you, I can understand. Now, we may have touched this next question somewhere else before and phrased it a little differently. My question is here, as bad things happen in the lives of good and oftentimes righteous people, is that an indication of negative karmic debts? Mancharians, indubitably, we could speak. But here again, there are always those perimeters, those extraordinary circumstances. So we will in effect do a breakdown for you, at the level of consensus or consciousnesses on the third-dimensional realm here, of which you reside in the present state or form of physical body. We would simply state here in the easiest fashion, that karma you bring indeed with you within your encoded DNA structure. And, as we have explained before, in the subconscious, in the helixes and how they are written in your records, for you have indubitably put pen to ink yourselves onto parchment. But there are those, you see, as we have also mentioned before, who are at their time of testing, their time of evolutionary progression. In other words, they are ready to perform unto themselves graduation. And these indeed are the ones who will test themselves, who will come face to face with the gods or the goddesses. And here by the gods or the goddesses we don't mean to be perfunctory, we simply mean those individuals, who perhaps have, and have indeed hooked up with their higher consciousnesses and perhaps at this time have not been united with the other half of themselves, or what you would call, their twin flame, the flame hereby representing the higher self, the flame within the triangle or the pyramid. And this is what flame represents. And when you have the two twins, the male and the female, joining together, so does the flame burn brighter. And here, the people of your planet, when they say I have a burning flame for you, know not what they speak. But here again, in order to fully answer your question, it is to those, who find themselves at the process or the doorway of graduation, ready to pick up their diploma, so to speak, will prove and provide themselves with the greatest testing. For testing always comes after many lessons, does it not? Even in your schoolrooms, you study and study all of your years, and at the end of these succession of years, do you not acquire within the realms of testing yourself? And here, they perceive it as a teacher testing them. Indeed, that is an error in concept, for it is themselves testing themselves as to what they have learned, and what they have retained. And that which is retained you could make as an equivalent to the attaining or retaining of certain lessons, which have been learned in past, and therefore encoded within your DNA as having been not a fictitious portion, which has been played out and must be repeated, but rather as the portion which you have so gladly accomplished within yourself, and hereby achieving the duty and the status and the responsibility and the liberty, that goes along with that responsibility of ethical maneuvering of your soul essence into the higher frequencies. And here again do you ones of this stature, of this quality of testing of yourselves, prepare for entry into fifth dimensional lifestyle, to put it in words and concepts of your limited understanding. And here we mean no disrespect, we just do our duty. Proceed. Question 130. Director, thank you. Speaking of grief or heartache, many of the worst kinds of human disasters can be found in the arena of unreturned love between man and woman. Some call the intense flame of love infatuation, if, where encased within the bosom of one person only, and thus remaining unanswered, can create an intense feeling of hurt. Can you perhaps explain and assist us in a balanced view of these situations? They can indeed create hell on earth for those involved. Mancharians, yes, indeed. Here again we are expressly dealing with the technologies of perhaps a soulmate versus twin flame. When the individuals look upon another individual with much favor, it is that element of the opposite, perhaps uninterested individual who is drawn. And here we mean the aspect that the individual, who is in fact interested, it is not so much a lustful desire, but there is an intricate point of meeting for that expression, here we could say, of a portion of a personality, which still lingers on from a previous or a future existence. This fatal attraction, so to speak, can be perfunctly dangerous at times, for it is a carrot held out, where the individual, who is simply is not biting, holds the carrot by the essence of the aura, knowing that the person does not really want or fit into the other person at this time, and maybe not future down the road, but in effect has some hold, which does not want to have the other person engaged with anyone else. This is a very selfish perception. When one does meet with its other half, indeed, you are retaining a balance of yourself, whereas a soulmate aspect is rather off balance. The scales tip. It is good to indeed to break that rope holding the carrot. Forgive yourself as well as the other person, and thereby neutralize your karma indeed. Is this clear? Proceed, please. Rennie Sentana-Ries, our presence on internet are freeearthsystem.net, as well as starshipfederation.atspace.co.uk. My presence on Facebook is facebook.com/Sentana-Ries. It is our intent to present to you listeners the words of the Mancharians from the book The Mancharians Newest Civilization in audio segments of approximately 5 to 9 minutes in length. Happy listening.